200 years ago, 100 years ago even, you would have been hard-pressed to find any of them around. Its estimated population along the Pacific coast is whittled down to around 1,900 animals at that point. The animals were hunted very nearly to extinction during the early settlement. We've been really lucky with these animals this year. Lots of humpbacks have been working this part of the coast over the last several years. Altogether, the Pacific humpback whales estimated population down the Pacific range here is estimated to be about 20,000 animals. You can find humpback whales in every ocean in the world. These are specifically North Pacific humpback whales. They're genetically distinct subpopulations. They don't intermingle with each other. Obviously, an Atlantic humpback isn't going to show up in the Pacific, but even more so, the North Pacific humpbacks aren't going to wander across the equator and mingle with South Pacific humpbacks. Interesting separation of these different subpopulations here. The southern wintering grounds, they're more or less fasting. There's very little food down there. They will feed when the opportunity arises, but just not the nutrient load that they need. This is two good-sized animals. This is the cow-calf here that I was talking about. This is a pair of adult animals here. Get a rough estimate of size just so you can run it back and roll it back and forth. Basically what they're doing is that happens, they arch their back, their head's pointing down towards the seafloor, arch their back, but let that tail clear, and they're basically letting themselves sink down into the water. Okay, that's a different sea mammal altogether there. Those are Dall's porpoise that are rushing around there. Dall's porpoise are a small sea mammal, actually another whale of sorts. Any whale is a cetacean. A cetacean takes in a large variety of forehead-breathing sea mammals, to boil it down to simple terms. Subdivide different cetaceans into odontocene cetaceans, or toothed whales, baleen whales, mystacine cetaceans like these humpbacks. There's their tail lift. Almost. Color anywhere from a dark, almost black color to a bright silver blonde color. These are harbor seals. A harbor seal is a phocid or a true seal. Later and tiny appendage that sticks out of their torso for a front flipper, so moving around on shore is a difficult prospect for them. In the water, they're much more in their element, of course. Jumping up in the air. The mom was sort of swimming along on her side there for a minute. What you were seeing was one half of her tail fluke, and then that big long pectoral flipper, big long pectoral flipper. Long advantage on these animals, almost a third of the animals' body weight on their side or upside down on their back. Get those up in the air. Some of this glacial ice, so bear that in mind here if you're moving around on deck. Don't be taken by surprise. The boat makes a quick turn here, comes to an abrupt stop. Trying to avoid some of this ice that's floating around in the water. Gray-brown colored birds with a big orange beak, not quite as bright and colorful as a puffin, but carefully you'll see a little dove over their bill, a little rhinoceros horn right over the top. A lot of us, our hometowns can point to different land features, geological features that have their origins in glacial formations. Great Lakes, Finger Lakes in New York, got a lot of them in the northeast. Colonial nesting like this is something that's unique to seabirds. You don't see most shore-based birds nesting this way. We have thousands of them all in one space. This is their safety as far as predation goes, their protection. Only unexpectedly numbered. If a falcon were to come by here, a bald eagle, these birds all come swarming off the rocks together at the same time. Circling around like an airborne fish. Now, while the horned puffins are crevice nesters like this, tufted puffins, by contrast, are burrowers. We look for them up on the upper parts of these rocks and islands, big burrows down in the topsoil on top of these islands. Nice look at this horned puffins here. Ability as far as being aviators, as far as business landing. If you watch them flying in here frequently, they'll make an approach. Here comes another one, big feet.
Ik kan hem niet volgen.
Whole population will pretty much leave all at the same time in a mass exodus. A lot of black-legged kittiwakes nesting here. The larger gulls that you see coming and going from these rocks are glaucous ring gulls. Glaucous wing gull seems to be content nesting out in the open. I mentioned a lot of the birds are nesting in places where they can stay safe from predators. The glaucous wing gulls are big enough that their ammo if the predator were to come by, it's just to bob them and chase them away from the nesting sites. So they don't seem to have too much trouble with that.